Do you want to change your life?
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Do you want better relationships?
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Do you know the potential of who you are today, who you can become?
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Join Dr. Preston Rich as he helps you to change your thinking, to change your life. From the military to corporate to the classroom, Dr. Rich shares his experience and knowledge to help others be their best selves. In this fast-paced world that we live in, we tend to forget how special we are.
Change your thinking.
Doc Rich says you are perfectly imperfect and uniquely amazing. And we're going to act like
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Call in or listen in as Doc Rich speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Dr. Preston Rich.
This is Dr. Preston Rich. I know that you guys are out here in the coronavirus mess and you guys are trying to stay safe and doing the things that you need to do. I'm so proud of each and every one of you for doing the things you need to do. It's sort of like being in kindergarten and the teacher tells you to be quiet so everybody can go outside, and you know it's always one other person out there who doesn't. And then we have to start all over again. So for those of you who are out in the coronavirus environment right now, please be safe. Make sure that you heed the warnings. I was at Costco earlier this morning, and there was a line. You know, I'm ex-military. I don't like lines. We in the military, we had a line for food, a line to get on the plane, a line to get off the plane, and it was always hurry up and wait. So I think I'm allergic to lines. I hate lines so much that when I do go into Walmart and there's a line for me to pay for my items, I just leave my items where they are and walk out of the store. I just don't believe that I need to wait in a line to let people have my money. I don't. But anyway, I got on today to let you guys know that I was thinking about what we're dealing with now, and I came up with something. Well, I didn't come up with it. I wanted to share this with you to talk about the three most important things that you have in your life. And these are the three things that I think that you make you do what you do to get money. I think these are the things that you do to ensure that everybody is okay in your household or in your family circle or what have you, or in your environment, the people that are around you. But there's three questions. There's three things, actually. Those three things are: who's important? Number two is what's important to who's important. And number three, how do you facilitate getting what's important to who's important? Let's try that again. Number one, who's important? Number two, what is important to who is important? And number three, how do you facilitate getting what's important to who's important? Now, every one of us go to work to find out. Actually, every one of us go to work or to have gainful employment or some way to get revenue in order to answer those three questions, you know. But I urge you, if you're just running around life, even if you're single, if you're running around life just out here with no purpose and no goals and no direction, in order for you to get straight, in order for you to get where you need to be, you probably need to start with those three questions. Those three questions. Who is important? What's important to who's important, and how do you facilitate getting what's important to who's important? When I went to, I'm a breakout speaker for Air Force Yellow Ribbon Program. It's a program that's actually great for deployed families of people who are deploying that are going out, and people who are deployed that are coming back in. This program it's amazing. It is where the United States Air Force Reserves bring in families. The whole family. They bring in the military member and the families in, and they have them go through a weekend of a series of breakout sessions. And I happen to be fortunate enough to be a breakout speaker. I talk about critical thinking and emotional intelligence and helping people to understand how to deal with their families when they come back from overseas or come back from a deployment. And I talked to them in my briefing. I talked to them about those three questions: is trying to understand, who's important, what's important to who's important, and how do they facilitate getting what's important to who's important. And I think it strikes a chord with them because of the fact that as a military member, you have actually stepped up to answer the call for your nation, and the things that you do are specifically for those three things. Even if they're single, they still have significant others or people like their parents or their siblings or what have you, grandparents, that they do things for. You'd be surprised, however, when people talk about who's important and what's important to who's important and how do you facilitate getting what's important to who's important, they forget about themselves. Now, I don't mean when I say who's important that you just name one person or one group of people. But what I want you to understand is that you cannot leave yourself out. Now, so many times we go and do other things for other people so much and we bend over backwards. And me, I'm a Virgo, so I just try to ensure that everybody's okay. I'm everybody's friend. I'm everybody's counselor. I'm everybody's consultant. And then when it comes to me, I go, And it's hard for me to actually look in the mirror and consult with myself. Of course, they would probably think that something was wrong with me if I was staring in the mirror trying to consult with myself. But hey, we have all done it. Don't judge. Don't judge. We have all done it. Some of you are doing it right now, looking at yourself in your iPhone and going, "Hey, am I?" Yeah, exactly. The who's important part has to actually include you. You should be a person who feels as though you are important to yourself. Now, I talk to a lot of mothers. I talk to a lot of single parents. I talk to a lot of fathers and people who are single with no children. And they tend to tell me all of the things that they're doing for other people. And I ask them, when was the last time you did something for yourself? This is important for you to understand, especially now when we're in this corona crisis. We are out here trying to maintain. I mean, it's devastating. You look at the news and it tells you, 20 more cases today than were yesterday. And oh, by the way, 2 people died. If you're a person who has to give that information to your family and you're a person who's a leader and has to give that information to your team, how do you do that? At what point do you stop and say, okay, enough's enough. I need to do something for myself. I need to try to get myself to a point where I'm good for everybody else. Because the more people that you are something for, the more you need to do to sustain yourself. And people, look, we get lost in this kind of stuff. We don't value ourselves enough. And I'm not trying to tell you to be arrogant and shut people off, because there's no sense in actually being a good person if you're not helping someone else. The way I look at it, and me being a Christian, the way I look at it, I say that I'll be judged on how well I follow my God, and then I'll be judged on how well I help my fellow man. And with me, it's another one is how well have I taken care of my family, because I am a man. Now, when you look at the situation that we have today, and I told you in my last podcast to be thankful for all the time that you have with the people in your life, I think that you need to actually be thankful for the time that you have, period. Because what has the coronavirus crisis given you? Time. And I'm going to tell you, that's the most valuable thing. It's more valuable than money, because once it's spent, you can't get it back. With money, you spend money, you can get some back, because you can go and get money the same way you did before. You go earn it. Hopefully, everyone goes to earn it. In some instances, people actually win money for something that they've done. But for the majority of people, we actually go to work and earn money. And you earn money. And once it's spent, you go earn some more. But your time, you cannot get this time back. Now, I'm not telling you to go and spend major time with minor people, because I that's one of the things that I want you to understand and getting out of your own way is don't spend major time with minor people. But at the same time, don't make yourself minor in the process. You have so much to offer other people, but only if you're in a good mental space and a good physical space. you have to be there first in order for you to continue or to start and continue to be anything for anyone else. Now, when we look at our emotional health, it is imperative that you understand, especially in this situation, that you have to be able to see the other person's side. While you're in the stores, have some compassion. While you're in the stores and you see a senior who are the most affected in this entire situation, you see a senior who is looking for toilet paper, or you see a senior you see a senior in the back, and it's amazing to me. It's just shocking to where I was in the store. I was in Kroger earlier today in Frisco, Texas, and I saw that a senior had an empty basket, and they were just looking around, and I had to ask, like, well, sir, do you need something? He needed some water. But there are so many people running around, and you see all these baskets, these young folks, or folks younger than him, running around with 2 and 3 cases of water. And this man asked for a 6-pack of water. A 6-pack of water. People are running around with 35 packs, 2 35 packs. Whether they're doing it for their families, I get it. Spigots still work. The best thing to do right now is go to Home Depot or somewhere and get yourself one of those filters that you can put on your spigot and use that. Because, hey, it's just twofold. Number one, you don't buy as much plastic. It saves the environment. Number two, you're not sitting there trying to hoard water when you have water coming out of the spigot. Now, if you look at it and you see certain things like notices that you can't go to funerals, you can't go to bars, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to I call them old folk homes, rest homes or assisted living homes. Who is going to take care of those people? Who is going to take care of those people? Who is going to go? And some of these people, this is the only thing they have. It's for someone to come and check on them. And it's disheartening to know that this disease is taking its toll on our older population, and it's taking its toll on us in general, our economy. I just read some reports that the Dow has gone down again. Does all of this matter? No. I think it's a thing where we need to understand that we're getting right back down to basics. We are saying, what happens if you have no sports, no travel, no bars? Have you thought about that? I have. Have you thought about what is it that we still have? Glass half full, I'm sorry. We don't have bars. We don't have, it's so funny that so many people are upset because they can't go into bars and talk to strangers. I just have to be around people. Well, hell, you got a family full of people in your house. You got a house full of people running around who are your relatives. And you still don't feel as though that's enough. Can you see what's going on in the world and what it's trying to tell us? What it's trying to tell us is, slow down. Stop. Everything that you thought was so important, your job, your money, your sports, your bar, your church, all of this other stuff, nope, not important, is it? Because guess what? You haven't had it for a week and you're still here. See, the beauty of this whole situation is that we are going to be allowed to rediscover people in their natural state. How glorious is that? How important is that, man? That we get to actually see people for who they are. Now they're not the VP of operations anymore because they don't have a job anymore. Now they're just plain old Bob walking their dog. The dog doesn't care because the dog's like, oh, this is so cool. I get to go walking. Well, you can take a lesson from dogs and children. Children love you whether you're employed, unemployed, sick, not sick. They love you to death. That's the spirit of a child. Well, look at it now. Maybe we need to have spirits of children and understanding and compassion and empathy. And being as though we understand now that we are the grown-ups and we are the ones that have put so much other stuff ahead of everybody else, including ourselves, that something had to step in and say enough's enough. People, I live in Frisco, Texas. I'm a single dad, and I've been a single dad since he was 4 months old. I'm enjoying every bit of this. We watch movies on Disney Plus. We do some things, you know. My time as a speaker has been cut short because of the fact that they don't have any gatherings. There's not many people sitting in a room waiting to listen to me speak as they used to. But that's okay. I've got the podcast. I can bone up on my podcast skills and video editing and audio editing skills. There's something that you can find that is positive in this situation. I urge you, hell, I challenge you to find one thing today that you haven't seen before that's positive. I challenge you to find one person today that you can positively impact. Just one person. I challenge you to do that. And you can leave that on my Instagram page, Doc Rich Speaks. Oh, let me give you my information. Doc Rich Speaks, DocRichSpeaks, Doc Rich Speaks. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel. I want you guys to go out there and talk to me. I want you to interact with me. If we can't talk here, we can talk on phone. We can talk on email. We can talk on direct message or the DM on Instagram. We need to figure out a way to communicate other than face-to-face. Now, face-to-face is the richest form of communication, but right now we can't be face-to-face except with the people that are in our house. So let's start there. Go to your mirror and find out who you are. Go to your mirror and find out how you communicate. What do you look like when you're communicating to these people? The thing that you can do right now is bone up on your communication skills. Can you talk to your wife? Can you talk to your husband? Can you talk to your children? Now, it is possible to be present in the home and mentally gone. I don't want you to do that. That doesn't help anybody. Take this time to get to know you. There used to be a commercial on NBC that says, "Getting to know you." It's kind of cool because you get to know who you are. Now, mind you, you might think that, oh, Dr. Rich is just talking and talking and talking. No, man, these are things that come in my mind. These are things that I think people need to know. People, you need to get to a situation where you're comfortable understanding yourself. Knowledge of self surpasses all understanding. And you need to find out who matters, what matters to who matters, and how you can facilitate getting what matters to who matters. I guarantee you your life will change as you know it. You have to change the way you think in order to be a better person. Your thoughts become your words become actions become habits become character, and your character becomes your destiny. In order for you to change your destiny, it all starts with a thought. And just think, people, if we as humans learn to communicate with one another more, and we learn how to communicate with each other with a sense of empathy, and we learn how to treat each other as though our lives depended on it, can you imagine what the rest of the world will be like? Because life is not guaranteed, and now people are falling like flies. I'm so blessed to be 51 years old here. I'm healthy, my son is healthy, and we're doing the things that we need to do to ensure that we break the chain of the coronavirus. People, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to give you any medical advice. But I am another kind of doctor, so I'm going to give you some emotional advice and some thinking advice and some compassion advice. Now it's time for you to show and prove and actually do what you said you were going to do. You need to treat people the way that you would want them to treat you. So maybe you don't need 15 cases of toilet paper. And maybe you don't need 3 cases of water. And maybe you don't need 100 bars of soap. What you do need is some compassion and empathy. And you need to try to put someone else's needs above yours, just once. Because if you were able to go to the store and get something for somebody, or get something for yourself, just think of the people who can't get anywhere. the people who are in the nursing homes who don't have the van driver now. And now they don't have their family to come and visit them. It all matters. Everything you do, big or small, matters. In the grand scheme of things, we're all here, we're all humans, and we all need to pitch in. Hey, that's my time. I hope you learned something. I hope you stayed on and listened. I want to shout out to all my friends, all my people. But most of all, I want to thank God for giving me the wherewithal to do the things that I do. Folks, if you want to hear something on my podcast or you want me to talk about something, reach out to me on Doc Rich Speaks. Send me an email, doc@prestonrich.com. Communicate with me on any of the social media outlets, and I will get back with you. I want you guys to know that if nobody else has told you, Doc Rich loves you. Peace.
You've been listening to the Doc Rich Speaks show. We hope we've stimulated your mind and inspired you to be your best self today. If you've enjoyed the show, tell some friends and join us next time on this same station. Follow Dr. Rich on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Doc Rich Speaks. You can download this podcast on Apple, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Spreaker as well. In the meantime and in between time, remember you are perfectly imperfect and uniquely amazing. So just be great every single day.